I'm so angry at climate change deniers. But before I engage you in a conversation about that, I think it's important to create a safe space, so I'd like to check in with you. What are the current pronouns that you identify with? He, she. You're two opposite things at the same time? That's a powerful truth to live. Wait, actually, zemzer. That feels true. I will affirm who you think you are as though it's who you actually are. Oh no, actually, I just switched back. He, she again. What are your current pronouns that encapsulate the entirety of your being and therefore you identify with? I go by person, place, or thing. Whoa, nouns, not pronouns? Yeah, I started to get concerned that I was mistaking my imagination for reality. I was changing my mind all the time about pronouns because I'm not inherently happy within myself. So I wanted to minimize the risks that I was just believing something about myself that's not actually true. So I had some medical tests done to objectively determine what my correct pronouns are. The result just came back. I tested negative for pronouns, but positive for nouns. Well, person, place, or thing, I will address you accordingly. Thank you! That makes me feel safe. I'm mentally unstable. And what are you so angry about? Climate change deniers, they make me so mad! They're the worst. They're so stupid. They can't even use their brains to see the climate change disaster that's right in front of them. Yeah, how stupid can you get? The disastrous changing of the climate is so obvious. Couldn't be more obvious. Case in point, recently I went to Florida. Yikes. Fascist Florida? Yeah, people were running around all free and face naked, fascistly not dying from a disease that I still think is killing everyone. I wish they would have been dead. Me too, cause then that would prove that we're right. Back to climate change deniers. Yeah, so as soon as I got to Florida, I went right to the beach to check the sea levels. And my measurements revealed something disturbing. What? My measurements showed that the sea levels had devastatingly risen to the exact same level they've been for 300 years. That's so scary. Yeah, yet climate change deniers still deny that it's happening. Playing devil's advocate for a second, I can kind of understand why they're in denial. With the rising sea levels that stay at the same level, many aspects of climate change can't be seen, measured, or perceived. That's what makes it so dangerous. Climate change is like a concealed weapon. It's hidden, not perceptible. That's what makes it as dangerous as we're told it is. The deniers are a bunch of mindless morons, but the changes being hidden is probably why they deny it. And have you seen the pictures of the Statue of Liberty from over 100 years ago compared to today? No. What do they show? The sea levels there are still at the exact same level. Those polar ice caps melt in mysterious ways. Yeah, and those climate change denying morons don't even trust the science. Have you read anything about how the Earth's climate goes through natural cyclical changes? And how a lot of the climate changes we're seeing present day are in line with those historical patterns? I don't trust that science. Me either. Do you ever wonder? Nope. The thoughts that are instilled in my mind from a very aggressive narrative that have me thinking that their narrative is my own thinking doesn't have me thinking at all. Therefore, I don't wonder. Same, except for one thing. I find it a little weird, a little incongruent, a little hypocritical, and a little suspicious that some of the biggest advocates for fear and climate change that we can't see but we're told we're having are always saying we must reduce carbon emissions. It's very necessary. Stop using gas stoves, stop eating meat, and stop driving your car to cut down on carbon emissions or else. Right, that's basic scientificalness. What's your problem with that? Well, those same people like Bill Gates, John Kerry, Klaus Schwab, and Leonardo DiCaprio are always flying around on their private jets, emitting more carbon in just one trip than you or I will ever emit in our entire lifetimes. Yes. But what you don't understand is all carbon emissions aren't created equal. They're not? No, not all carbon emissions are dangerous. For example, the carbon emissions from jets of people like that. And their yachts? And their yachts are the good kind of carbon that doesn't do anything bad. The type of carbon that you and I emit, even though it's just a small fraction of what they emit, it's much more dangerous. Really? Well, how can you tell what type of people emit the dangerous carbon versus the type of carbon that's safe and that we shouldn't worry about or even acknowledge? The equation is simple. You know the old saying, you'll own nothing and be happy about it? Yeah? Well, in that equation, if the you and I's of the world are owning nothing, then that leaves a small group of people that own and control everything. And if we comply and have a good social credit score, then we get to use some of those things that the small group of people owns. Okay, so if you're the type of person that will be owning nothing, then your carbon is the dangerous kind. But if you're the type of person who owns everything to give others the opportunity to own nothing, then your carbon emissions are safe. Thank you for explaining that to me. Not a problem. You just think too much sometimes. Oh, and what about Michael's husband, Barack? He's big into scaring us about climate change for our benefit. Yet he buys a $12 million mansion right on the ocean. Bill Gates recently bought a $40 million mansion right on the ocean. Why would they do that if they're so confident that climate change is causing ocean levels to rise so dramatically? Oh yeah, I mean, that's simple. They want to be right at the ocean so they can protect us when the ocean levels start to rise. Really? Absolutely. They're putting themselves in harm's way to block the rising tides from harming people like us that they wish were aborted before we were even born. Yeah. They'd probably put up sandbags and try to block the rising ocean with their own bodies. Exactly. These very unelected leaders of ours care about us. That's why they're willing to make the great sacrifice of trying to control every aspect of our lives for our protection. Now I understand. I'm so glad we had this talk. Climate change deniers are even dumber than I thought. They're so dumb. Well, do you want to come to the women's restroom with me? Sure. I always love seeing what's going on in there. Before you go, my friends, I want to tell you I am here with 3 of my favorite people on the planet. Magnesium Breakthrough by Bioptimizers and the founders of Bioptimizers, Matt Gallant and Wade Lightheart.
Well, I don't know if this is a person or not, but anyways, I can tell you a little bit about magnesium. It's probably the most important mineral you can get, and most people aren't getting enough. But what magnesium is right for you? The real reason that we put 7 different types is because you need all 7 in order to get the maximum benefit. Plus, we've got extra delivery agents that make sure it doesn't sit in your stomach or your toilet, but actually gets inside your cells. Matt, you want to talk about the science?
Boring scientific facts. We've tested it in the lab against every single form of magnesium, and it outperforms all of them, including the best one by 33%, which means you get better sleep, you feel less stressed, and you feel awesome.
And if you want to bring Magnesium Breakthrough and all the amazing benefits into your life, just go to magnesiumbreakthrough.com/JP and use discount code AWAKEN for a healthy discount. Enjoy, my friend.